Hey, this just happened, so I wanted to share it with you. Working on the latest kilt. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. I am picking up speed and at no loss of quality, of course. And but I started to have some second guesses or doubts or something, and I always pay attention to gut feelings because they're right a distressingly large part of the time. So I'd reached the point where we can see here where I'd sewn the pleats, I've sewn and, so I should say, shaped and sewn the inner apron. The canvas is in, and I was ready to start the front apron. But something about the numbers were giving me pause. Because, of course, when we measure somebody over their shirt and their trousers, we're not allowing for the thickness of this material. So those measurements at waist and hip really are on the inside of the kilt. And with this extra bulk, sometimes we do everything exactly by the numbers, and then we wonder why the kilt's a bit too small. So I indulged myself because he doesn't live too far away, and he kindly came by after work today, just a few minutes ago, and I tried the kilt on him. Now, I haven't pressed it yet, and because I haven't pressed it, I haven't sewn the buttonhole stitch on either side of the buttonhole. I haven't made and installed the straps on their tabs. So rather than sew a buckle on temporarily and then have to take it off again, because as careful as you can be, every time you're cutting threads, there's always a tiny chance that you're going to damage the cloth, right? So what I did was I took an unused strap and I used basting thread to baste it into position that's where the buckle would be, or the tongue of the edge of the buckle would be on the finished kilt. So it's in position to act as a gauge. So I wrapped the kilt around him and assured that it was draping nicely, and then I marked on the inside of the apron. Now this, because it's marked back here, this looks to you and to me like possibly the apron's too broad, but it's not actually, because this is a longer strap than I normally cut. So I've measured back, and so I can plan accordingly. Now, the next thing, having done that, was I spread the apron, the unshaped apron, across his belly, and just marked it to the edge of the first pleat on the right hand side, and then just made chalk marks. And it came to within half an inch of where I'd actually measured. So I guess that half inch represents the bulk of the kilt, the greater circumference of the outside of the kilt versus the inside of the kilt. So I've made some what look like rather rough chalk lines, but they don't have to be absolutely dead perfect in a swing, because they're points showing me where the edge of the apron is going to come against and lay relative to this first pleat. So now from this point, I'm going to measure from, I have the right end of the tape. I'm actually getting really good at using a measuring tape upside down and counting down from 60 inches. My maths teacher would be horribly impressed. Okay, so 22 at the waist and 22 and a half at the hips. So now I can lay out my apron, sew it in place, do the fringing, carry on in the full confidence that it's going to fit. And on top of that, it's part of the theater of bespoke, the feeling of being fussed over and made much of a little bit of attention to detail and such like that. And that's one of the things people are paying for when they're buying bespoke. So thank you. Hope you found this useful. I'm not going to make videos if I don't have anything to say, so sometimes I'm wondering what to say. So in any case, here we are. I'm going to move forward from this, and thank you. Be safe, be excellent to each other.